Hey guys, good morning. Bill Soriano from Pittsburgh. It's Sunday, July 23rd, almost through July already, guys. The year's just moving along, and today doing the video. This video is a little bit longer. This is the video I do every Sunday where I do the weekly smart money outlook for the week of 7/24. So next week, which actually starts tonight, Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So as you know, what we do is we're going to go through all 28 Forex pairs today. In my watch list, we're going to identify the daily trend bias because we like to trade with the higher time frame trend. We're then going to find a 4-hour order block in line with the daily trend bias, right? To trade from, right? So if the bias is bullish, we're going to look for a bullish order block to trade from, right? We're going to identify a point of interest inside of that 4-hour order block, and we're going to set an alert at that point of interest line. Okay, I'm going to use a free indicator today, show you how to help you identify these order blocks if you're new to trading or you don't want to watch my videos and you want to just do it yourself. The order blocks must meet 3 criteria. They must lead to a break of structure. They must have an engulfing candle after the institutional or banker candle that we're using to identify the order block, and they must cause imbalance. Also, these order blocks must not have already been mitigated or touched. And then, of course, part of our strategy, once that 4-hour point of interest alert goes off, we drop down to the 15-minute chart to look for our entry model, which is the lower time frame flip. Now, important to show you guys in the month of July here using this strategy, we are currently at 17 wins, 9 losses. So we've taken 26 trades. There were 26 trades opportunities. Now, keep in mind, I don't take all of these trades because I'm not available at the charts all day long. I own a restaurant, so I'm there during the day. So I'm sleeping during the London session, and I'm at the restaurant during the New York session. So I can only mark up charts during the Asian session, and I do that. However, the Asian session is not the best time to trade. But what I've noticed is that most of these losing trades here, these non-losing trades, occur during if you mark up your charts during the Asian session. But there are still winning trades in the Asian session as well. And we've only been tracking this so far for 1 month. So right now, like I say, for this month, 26 trade opportunities presented themselves. We would have had 17 wins, 9 losses. That's a 65% win ratio, and the gain on our account would have been 25%. And that is assuming that we're taking every trade at a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio. So for risking 10 pips, we set our take profit at 20. If we're risking 20 pips, we set our take profit at 40. Now, it's important to remember, no matter if you're risking 10 pips, 20 pips, 30 pips, 40 pips, the amount of money that you risk is always the same, either 1-to 2% of your trading account. And so you just adjust the position size to accommodate the amount of pips that you have to risk. Okay. But with these 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio trades, we're able to lose 2 out of 3 trades and still break even. Okay, so you can break even with this strategy, winning 1 out of every 3 trades. Now, as you can see here, our trading percentage is win rate is 65% here for the month of July. Okay, so let's get to the charts here. With all that being said, and of course, I'm going to post this video in my Forex Smart Money Trading Academy group right here. Yesterday, I posted this video here, and I went through the trade alerts that came out for last week. So I went over the pairs where trade alerts were hit, and what would have happened. Last week wasn't a very good week, actually. It was like, I think, 1 win and 2 or 3 losses last week. So I'm going to clean this. I'll clean this chart up, and I'm also going to put a space in between weeks here, so I know how many wins and losses are in each particular week. And we'll clean this up a little bit here to make it look better. I was just testing a couple other things out this month, and so we'll clean this up, and then every month we'll post this in the group so that you can see it. And we'll also try to get an image here, the final image of the trade here, so that you can see the actual trade. So today, though, we're going to go over and we're going to set these 4-hour point of interest alerts. Okay. So now our charts are already marked up from last week. So we're just going to see where we're at here. We're going to start at the top, work all the way down the pairs here. First thing we do is go to the daily chart. We want to see what is the daily bias. Okay. So you can see here, the daily bias is bearish here in AUD CAD. We also have these moving average indicators that we use here. This is really a pure smart money strategy. We don't use any indicators to take the trades with this strategy. However, we do use some indicators to help us identify trend and also identify order blocks, right? And I'll show you those. So we use these three moving averages, the 13, the 62, and the 200. And if we're a little confused about the trend, we can use these to show us. We could see here the 13 below the 62, both are below the 200. And you can see the downward price action, knowing that the order flow here is bearish, right? And so with that, we go to the 4-hour chart and we want to mark up a 4-hour order block. Okay, so we're going to turn on our Smart Money Concepts indicator here. This is Smart Money Concepts Lux Algo. If you go to your indicators here, you can see I have mine right here highlighted, right? But you can, if you don't, you can just search for that and it'll come up. So it's Smart Money Concepts Lux Algo, Lux Algo. Okay, and we use this just to help us identify some areas of trade. Now you can see here, in this case here, the indicator is giving us these order blocks right here. I'm not real fond of these order blocks, although they do cause an internal break of structure. You can see here, you get an internal break of structure right here as price is moving down. And so we had this order block up here marked up, right? Because we were looking for price to come all the way up to here before it reacted down. But what happened was price stopped right about here, right? So price kind of reacted off of this order block right here, which we didn't like, right? But you can see that it kind of reacted off of this order block here. Let me just remove the drawing here. There is an order block right here that we could have picked, okay? And you can see that is where price seemed to react off of. So now you have the order flow moving down and you're getting these internal breaks of structure. And so we have an order block here that I'm not really fond of, an order block here that I'm not really fond of, because again, we don't have that engulfing candle after the institutional candle that we would be using. So what we're going to do is we're going to use, sometimes what you could do is, let me just show you here real fast. Let's get rid of this. If we wanted to use this order block right here that the indicator is giving us, but we don't like the 4-hour candle, then what we could do is we can drop down, sorry about that. We can drop down to the 1 hour and we can see if there's a better candle here on the 1 hour, okay? And so right here, we do have a little bit better, like a bearish engulfing candle right here after that candle right there. Maybe hard for you to see. You have this little blue with mostly wicks, but then you get a nice engulfing candle after it. So we could then set our point of interest, right? Since we're inside of the 4-hour order block, we could set our point of interest right there. And that's where we'll set our alert. So now what you can see is when you go back to the 4-hour, you can see that that alert is inside of that 4-hour order block. And then, of course, once we go through all these pairs, we just turn the indicator off, right? And we're just left with our order block and our point of interest alert inside of that order block. So we're going to wait for price to come back up to here, and then hopefully again, we don't trade when our 4-hour point of interest gets hit. Some people use trading strategies where they set their sell limit right at that 4-hour point of interest alert. We don't do that. Okay. We wait for the 4-hour alert to get hit, then we drop down to the 15-minute and we wait for our entry model, which is the lower time frame flip. Right. We wait to make sure the price is going to go ahead and move in our direction. We wait for that break of structure, that change of character. And I go over all this during the week when I do, and also on yesterday's session, if you want to go back and watch that if you haven't seen it. But today we're just going to go through and mark up these 4-hour points of interest. And we're going to move a little bit faster here. I just want to take my time on a couple of them to show you a couple things. Again, we can see order flow is bearish. On the 4-hour here, let's make sure we have this indicator back on. We have a couple, see, we have a break of structure. So we have this new 4-hour order block right here. So we're going to remove our old drawings from last week. And we are going to use this order block that it's giving us right here. We have a nice engulfing candle right there. And so we're going to put our point of interest right on the open of that 4-hour candle. Okay, let's keep going. Again, we always start on a daily chart. We want to see what the order flow is. This order flow is obviously bullish. Again, back to the 4-hour to find where is that order block we can trade from. Okay, so here we have a break of structure to the upside, as you can see here. And we're getting this order block right here. Okay, again, I don't really like the candles here inside of this order block. So what we could do is, and it's actually giving us another order block here further over, which is much better. Okay, and that's the one we have marked up from last week. So we're going to stick with this order block from last week. I'm not real fond of this move up here inside of this bigger move down. You see, so I don't want to select this order block here because I don't like the candles inside of it. So we're going to just stay with what we have marked up here from last week and move on. AUD, NZD. Now this one is currently, we went over this yesterday. So this one we currently have marked up. Price has hit our point of interest, right? Our point of interest alert was hit here. If we go again, if we look on the daily, we can see that the order flow, it's a little bit hard to see this order flow, but if you scroll out, you can see that the last bigger move was definitely down to the downside. It then tried to recover, but couldn't, and it's kind of been consolidating inside of this move from here to here. So we're looking at bearish order flow right now. And so we have this inside of this 4-hour order block here. And so we're just waiting on our 15-minute chart. We have this red line marked up, and that's our change of character. We're waiting for price to move down below there so we can identify our area to get into this trade. So we need this break of structure to the downside, which we call a change of character or choke, before we'll be able to look for our actual, where to put our sell limit. Okay, so let's keep going here. Again, we start on the daily chart. And again, this order flow here has been pretty bearish. We got these moves up here. We couldn't seem to break this structure right here. And so we still seem to be bearish, okay? The order flow is still kind of bearish to me. So if I drop down to the 4-hour chart, right, the indicator is giving us a couple areas to trade from. This newer area here again, we don't have a nice engulfing candle. But if we were to mark this area up and then drop down to the 1 hour to see what that looks like. And then, of course, on the 1 hour, we do have a better engulfing candle to trade from. So we can go ahead and we can mark up the open of this candle, this banker candle right here. And that's where we'll set our alert. So again, going back to the 4 hour, we'll see that our alert is inside of the 4 hour order block. Okay, so that's where we're waiting for price to come back to. CAD, we're getting into the CAD pairs now. And on the daily chart, again, we're bearish. So we have a 4 hour order block already marked up right here. And so we're going to stick with that, right? We have some imbalance. We have an engulfing candle. We have some imbalance. The indicator is giving us order blocks much further up here. It's also giving us an order block down here to buy from. But since the daily order flow, the daily trend is bearish, we don't want to trade. We don't want to take a long position. We want to look for an order block to trade from to take a short position. So that's that one right there. CADJPY, this was, I think, our one winning trade from last week, which actually went on to be this could have been a 1 to 7 trade. Of course, we get out once we get to 1 to 2, because very few of the trades have gone past 1 to 2, right? And so the ones that don't go to 1 to 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 end up losing before they get there. So they would not have been winning trades. They would have been losing trades had we tried to get a 1 to 3 or a 1 to 4 on. Okay. So we have this all recorded. So we're going to remove the drawings on this here, and we're going to see what we want to do here with this next week. So again, our order flow here seems to be bearish now, right? As we know, we took the long position last week. So we definitely have bearish order flow. And if we were to look here on the 1 hour chart, since we do have this break of structure here, we have an order block right here that we could possibly trade from. We have an order block inside of here as well. And then we have this lower order block that it's giving us down here. So the best one obviously looks to be this one down here, because you had this big engulfing candle after this red candle is the last down candle before the up move. So this red candle is the candle that we use to identify the order block. Okay, so we draw that order block from wick to wick, and you can see that that's what the indicator has done for us as well. Now, about 80% of the time, this indicator will be right, but sometimes it won't. Sometimes it uses a different candle to identify the order block. And so I just fix it, because I know what criteria I want to use for an order block. So anyway, we have all this imbalance. We have this big engulfing candle. So this is probably going to be the best thing to do, to wait for this to retrace back down to here before we would think about taking another long position. Now, some people may mark up this order block right here. There is some imbalance here. Of course, these candles aren't as nice as this one here is. So we're going to stick with this one down here. Okay, let's see HFJPY. Again, we're very bullish. If we go to the 4 hour, we have some new breaks of structure here. I don't care for this area here, but this area here is not bad. The problem is, what happens here is you have a break of structure, and then price comes back and it already mitigates this area here. So that, kills it for me. Let's see here. If we look at this again, in this case, to me, it's using the wrong candle to identify the order block. Now it's using this up candle because price went lower, right? So I understand the reasoning behind that. So let's just say I do that. And let's just say I drop down to the 1 hour to see. And right here, we have a nice engulfing candle. We have some imbalance on the 1 hour. So we can mark up this area right here. Now, again, we don't want to use the 1 hour to identify our order block. Okay, it's very important. We don't use the 1 hour to identify our order block, but if we don't like, once we identify the order block, if we don't like the candles inside of that 4 hour order block, then we can drop down to the 1 hour to see if there's a candle inside of that 4 hour order block. And you can see that's what we've done right here. So that's going to be our point of interest. EUR, AUD, again, if we go to the daily chart, we're going to see some bullish order flow. If we drop down to the 4 hour here, let me just remove our drawings here. Okay, right here we got a break of structure, and price came down, kind of filled this imbalance here, but it didn't come all the way down. So right here, again, see, it likes to use the low. When it gets a low like this, it likes to use that candle to identify the order block, right? But really, so what I do is when I see that, if it makes sense to me, then I go ahead and I do that. But again, I don't see a candle inside of there that I like. So if I drop down to the 1 hour, right, I can see right here, that's a perfect candle to use. You get a nice engulfing candle, all this imbalance here. So we're actually going to wait for price to move down to here. It may take a couple weeks to do that. But, you know, like you could see, we save our alerts and we move on. Again, we don't want to use the 1 hour to identify the order block, but if we don't like the candle that identifies the 4 hour order block, then we can drop down to the 1 hour to see if there's a candle inside of the 4 hour that we can use. So it's definitely a multi-time frame smart money concept strategy, right? We use the daily to identify the trend. We use the 4 hour to identify the order block and the point of interest. If we can't find a good candle inside the 4 hour order block, then we drop down to the 1 hour to see if there's a 1 hour candle inside of the 4 hour to identify our point of interest. And then, of course, once that point of interest is hit, we use the 15-minute to take the trade. So 4 different time frames that we use for this strategy. Okay, let's go down now, EURCAD. Again, we have this bullish order flow here. We go to the 4 hour, we can see here that we identified this order block. It looks like we have this. Let's get rid of this line here. So we have this order block right here. This is a nice order block. And let me just remove the drawing for a second to see something. Yeah, again, I do like this order block. And the point of interest is right here. And again, so like I said, the indicator about 80% of the time will give you a correct order block, right? I mean, they're all correct order blocks, but some of the ones that the indicator gives me, I just don't like. Now, in this case here, usually you would use this red candle right here to identify the order block. So the order block would be from here to here, say, right? The order block would actually be from there to there. But for whatever reason, the indicator is using this other candle here. And so I just grab it because really the order block itself isn't as important as the point of interest, right? So I'm waiting for that point of interest to get hit. And so as long as that point of interest is inside the order block, I'm good with it, right? And we're getting through the EUR pairs here. Again, we got bearish order flow on the daily. We drop down to the 4 hour. We see that it's giving us this order block here, but there wasn't a true break of structure here. You see this? I'm looking for this wick to get broken right here. And so I use the wicks to identify where the break of structure would occur, and I need a body of the candle now to close below that. And that didn't happen here. So to me, this is not a valid order block here. Okay. You do have this little internal break of structure inside of this area here, though. And so to me, that I don't like that. I'm not going to trade from that. Okay. So again, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for price to come back up to here, where I have my order block and my point of interest off of this candle right here, it looks like. Let me see. I need the last up candle before the down move. And so we're using this little candle right here because we have a big engulfing candle after it with all kinds of imbalance. Okay. EUR, GBP, this one, I think had a losing trade in it, so we had that marked up already. So let's get all the drawings out of here. We can see here price trying to move back up, but order flow is still bearish overall. So on the 4 hour, it's giving us some order blocks over here. It look like they've already been hit and reactive off of. So I'm going to go with this order block right here. You can see here that these order blocks have kind of already been mitigated somewhat. You don't get a true break of structure down here. So even though this order block has been touched, you need a clean break of structure first, and you don't really get it, right? You don't really get a clean break of structure here to the downside until price moves through there. Okay, so I'm still good with trading from this area right here, and I have a nice engulfing candle. Of course, I don't have any imbalance. Okay, so if I mark up this area here, maybe on the 1 hour, we can find a better candle that has some imbalance here. So we have to scroll over and then extend this out. And so we do have a better candle right here, but again, we have no imbalance because, you know, price has already been hit here. So I don't really like anything that I'm seeing here on this chart. I don't like any of these areas. So let me look at this area here one more time here. Yeah, I just don't like anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put first of all, we have to remove, where was this? There's still a trade here. So this one's not, we're in a current situation where we hit our point of interest here. So we're going to leave that flag here. I'm going to put a pink flag on here, and the pink flag tells me that I have not identified a point of interest on this pair. So that tells me to go back on maybe Tuesday evening and see if anything else has happened that would allow me to identify another point of interest, right? I don't like anything here. I don't like anything here because it's already been hit and reacted off of, right? And even higher up, we have no imbalance. All the imbalances have been filled, right? We have some imbalance up here, but again, we have no engulfing candles, so we have no order block up there that we can identify. So let's just skip that pair for right now. Okay, we got very bullish order flow here in EUR JPY. Drop down to the 4 hour. And so we have these internal breaks of structure. It's giving us a couple order blocks here. Don't like this one, but this one obviously that I already have marked up from last week is still valid, right? We can see that. Let me just remove these drawings here for a second. So we can draw this out here. We can see that this wick here kind of came down into the order block, right? But our point of interest is going to be all the way down here. So our point of interest has not been hit. We still have lots of imbalance down here. We have a nice engulfing candle right after our banker candle, which is that last red candle or last red candle before the move up. KERNZD is very bullish. As you can see, we have this 4-hour area marked up right here, which has not been hit. We did get a break of structure now to the upside. So that allows us to look at a different area here. So we have this candle right here. But the thing I don't like here is the next candle isn't really an engulfing candle. It kind of is by a little bit. Of course, this candle here that they're using to identify the order block doesn't work because it's a really big candle and the next candle is much smaller. We also have no imbalance here because you can see this wick has come down and hit this. So I'm gonna use my original order block from last week that I have marked up here. So I'm thinking the price is, if it comes back down, it's going to go through here. It's going to invalidate this order block and move into this one. Okay. EURUSD, we look on the daily chart, we're very bullish. Drop down to the 4-hour. And so we have this order block right here that we have marked up from last week to trade from. We still have all this imbalance down here that needs filled. So price obviously has a reason to come down there, right? So we're going to leave that as is. GBP AUD, I think this trade here, this trade has hit the order block right here on the 4-hour. So we're currently waiting. So what happened here was on the 15-minute here, price came down and it broke structure to the upside. It gave us our change of character, this red line right here. We identified this order block down here to take our trade from. So we had our buy limit set down here. But what happened is price never came back. Price never came back down. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start from scratch here. We're going to move all our drawings. We're going to go back to the daily chart, right? We can see bullish price action. We drop down to the 4-hour. And we're going to see if we have another area that we can maybe target, okay? So we can see that this order block down here hasn't really been hit. Okay, we have this candle down here, this little red candle, a big engulfing candle. We don't have any imbalance though. See how this wick kind of goes up and then it comes down and it fills all this imbalance up down here. If we go down one lower, right, we don't really have a good engulfing candle after our banker candle, but we can highlight this area and we can drop down to the 1-hour chart to see if we can find something we like, right? We scroll over, and then if we zoom into here, we can see that right here we have some candles that we can use because there's some engulfing candles after them. So I would say you go to the lowest point here. That gives you imbalance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this candle right here. So that's where I'm going to set my alert. So again, this is one where we had to use the 1-hour chart to find our point of interest alert, but that point of interest alert is still inside of our 4-hour order block, which is right here. GBP CAD, let's go to the daily. We're going to see we have bullish order flow on the daily. Let's drop down to the 4-hour here, and let's remove our drawings here. We got a bunch of stuff there. So what we could see is it's giving us this order block down here. It's not a great order block. Let's see. So we do have imbalance. We do have engulfing candles here. So we could use this area right here. And we could just kind of set our point of interest. In this case, kind of right in the middle of it, because there's just a few different candles that we can use. Okay. GBP-CHF is our next pair on the daily chart. We're going to see that the order flow is now bearish, right? So we had bullish order flow, but now we definitely have bearish order flow. So let's see on the 4-hour. We have this area up here. We have this area up here marked up. And so we're going to stay with that. Okay, I don't like, it's not really an engulfing candle. There's not much imbalance. Let me just see. Let me just remove this drawings for a second here. Let me see if there's something better here down on the 1 minute. And I can see it looks like I got something better there on the 1 minute. I got a nice engulfing candle there. So I'm going to use probably about end up being the same point, right? I just like that candle a little bit better. GBP JPY on the daily. We are very bullish on the daily. We have this area here still marked up that has not been hit. So we're going to still wait for that. The indicator is giving us a order block right here because we've gotten this clean break of structure to the upside here. It's an internal break of structure. I think that more than likely price will go through it and make it to this order block here. It may go even further, but I'm going to put my point of interest inside of that 4-hour order block right there. GBP NZD on the daily, we're very bullish on the 4-hour. Again, it's trying to give us an order block here, which isn't valid because I don't get a clean break of structure. So we're going to stick with the order block that we have down here. It looks like we probably use the 1 hour to identify this order block, or we use this little, it looks like a blue candle to me. Let me just look at this one more time here. So again, I'm gonna drop down to the 1 hour to see if I can find a candle that I like inside of this order block here. So let's see. What do I see here? I really don't see anything I like. I don't see anything I like, but I still like the order block. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use, this is one where I'm just going to use about 50% of that order block for my point of interest. So if I like the order block and I can't really find a candle to use for the point of interest on the 4-hour or on the 1 hour, but the order block is still kind of valid to me because of the price action inside of it, I'll use 50% of the order block for the point of interest. GBP USD. This one just hit our 4-hour, I believe. And so this is one where we're waiting on the 15-minute to get a change of character. So we're just going to leave this alone right now. We're going to leave the blue flag next to it. NZD CAD. On the daily, we got bearish order flow. And we have this order block. It's giving us a new order block right here, which I kind of like. I don't like now because there's no, you see here, this red candle isn't engulfing the blue candle. And there is some imbalance, but not a whole lot, right? So again, if I go higher up, I got a nice area right here. I got a nice candle, nice engulfing. There's some imbalance. So I can go ahead and remove the drawings here. And I'm going to use this order block right here. Right, and my point of interest is going to be at the open of that blue candle right there. Okay. Okay, guys, and if you're following along here, if you have any questions, just drop them down below in the comment section. Uh, if you're on YouTube, if you're in my group watching this video, wherever you're at, there's going to be a way for you to contact me, right? You don't really understand any of these things I'm talking about, you need to take our 9-part Smart Money Concepts video series. That's a free series. You get a video every day for 9 days. Kind of teaches you, breaks down this strategy into little sections, little things that you need to look for, and you can register for that absolutely free. There's no charge for that. Okay, bullish, bearish order flow on the daily. And on the 4-hour, we did get a recent break of structure, which gives us this new area here. But again, we have no imbalance. This wick is kind of coming up. So I'm not real happy with that area. I kind of like this area up here, which is up a little bit higher. So I'm going to remove the drawings and we're going to go with this candle right here. And we're going to point a point of interest right there. Now, more than likely, price goes through there, but we can use that as our point of interest because we're not going to trade from that alert there. We're gonna drop down to the 15-minute and wait for our lower time frame flip. We're going to wait for price to tell us that is actually going to maybe move down from this area, right? And not go straight up to this one or this one, because these are all decisional areas. The extreme areas are up here. These areas down here are all called decisional areas, okay? And so the people that will trade directly from this point of interest, they don't want to use these decisional areas because price moves blows right through them a lot. They'll use the extreme areas. But since we drop down to the 15-minute and we wait for our confirmation or lower time frame flip, which involves a change of character or a choke, we can set our alert here because a lot of times price will just come to here and then go down further. And again, we're only looking for that 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio trade. Okay, NZDJPY. This one appears to have very, very bullish order flow, right? We drop down to the 4-hour. These areas inside here really aren't very good. There's no break of structure to identify these areas here. So last week when we marked this up, we were looking for price to move up further so that we would be able to identify these areas down below. It didn't do that. So it looks like we have, let me just remove everything here for a second. So yeah, really, so the indicator is giving us this area all the way down here. So this is the area that we would look to trade from. We have a nice engulfing candle after this candle here. So we could certainly put our point of interest right there. But the other thing that we can do is, since this is so far away, we can also set a break of structure alert up here a little bit higher. And, we can label that up here. We can call that break of structure alert. And if this alert goes off, then that tells us that we would be able to, identify a different area. But as for right now, our area is down here. NZD-USD. Okay, this was a trade, I guess, from last week. This was one that lost. We have that documented, so we're going to remove all the drawings here. And we're going to look at this now fresh for this week. What is this doing? Look at this pretty much massive consolidation here. It's kind of very bullish though. And now it's just kind of flagging downward. So this order flow to me is bullish. Okay. So if I'm looking at this bullish, I have this order block right here. And I don't really like anything in here, but you can see that price is inside of this order block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this for a buy. I'm going to take this whole order block here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to use 50% of this whole area that the indicator is giving me, right? I'm just going to use about 50% of it. So I'm going to wait for price. Price needs to come down a little bit lower. It needs to hit our alert here, and then we can possibly take a trade to the upside, right? USD CAD. Okay, this one. I'm sure if we had this already marked up here. Yeah, so this one's already inside of our 4-hour order block, and we're waiting to get a change of character right here. So we're waiting for price to move down. So this one, we have a red flag on it telling us to check for a change of character. Essentially, what we're looking for is we want price to break structure to the downside, give us that change of character, and then we would be able to identify an order block up here, which would actually be right up in here. There's not much imbalance though up here, so it's not going to look like a very good trade. Okay, so hopefully what happens is maybe price goes a little bit higher first, right, without invalidating our order block, and then it comes down and it gives us that change of character, and then it gives us a better area to trade from up in here, right? And so then we would look for price to come back, hit our sell limit order right there, and then continue to the downside. And again, we only have to get a 1-to-2 risk to reward ratio trade to make our money, right? So it doesn't have to make a big move. USD CHF daily chart, we're going to be, looks like we're going to be what? Bearish, pretty bearish here on the daily chart, definitely bearish. On the 4-hour, it looks like we have this order block right here marked up, which still looks valid to me. We have an engulfing candle after it. We have imbalance, so we're going to leave that alone. USD JPY, daily chart. Daily chart is bullish. And on the 4-hour, it's giving us an order block here. We don't have a lot of, we don't have a nice engulfing candle. So we're going to, we're going to go down. We like this area down here. This area down here is obviously looks like a better area to trade from. So we're going to wait for price to move down to here. And that's where we'll look to take it back up. So what we've done is, guys, we've gone through all 28 Forex pairs, right? We've looked at the daily trend bias. We identified that 4-hour order block. We identified a point of interest inside of that 4-hour order block. Sometimes we had to drop down to the 1-hour candle to get that point of interest line, but it was still inside of that 4-hour order block because we only want to trade from 4-hour order blocks, right? We set our alert on that point of interest. I showed you how to use how the indicator works, how you can use moving averages to help you identify the trend if you have to, how the indicator works to identify the order block. And also the order blocks have to lead to a break of structure. There should be an engulfing candle, and they must cause imbalance. Order blocks must not have already been mitigated or touched. And then, of course, once that point of interest alert is hit, we drop down to the 15-minute chart. We don't trade when that 4-hour point of interest alert is hit. We don't take the trade there. We now drop down to our 15-minute chart and wait for our confirmation, right? We want to see price move down, break structure on the 15-minute before we want to look to set our buy or sell limit orders. So that's how we do it, guys. That's the strategy. And like I said, we're currently for the month of July, 17 wins, 9 losses, 65% win rate, 25% gain on our account. So if you haven't done so already, you want to join my Forex Smart Money Academy, Smart Money Trading Academy group. If you're watching this video on YouTube or on another social platform that I posted it on, then you want to come back to Facebook and join my Forex Smart Money Trading Academy group, because that's kind of where I post all the chart markups, right? The videos I post everywhere. I post them on YouTube. I put them here in the group, and on other social media platforms, on my blog, so on and so forth. But I put the chart markups all here in the group during the week as the trades go off. So you're going to want to become a member of this group. If you're not already a member, it's a free group, right? If you need our 9-part Smart Money Concepts video series, drop me a message, right? Email me, message me on Messenger. Wherever you're watching this video, it's going to have a contact method for you to get in touch with me. I'll send you the link to register for that free 9-part Smart Money Concepts video series. You'll get one video every day for 9 days, right? If you're ready to join our community, get access to everything we have, all of our live training 5 days a week, the company's live training educators that go live every day, all throughout the day, then drop me a link there. And for the month of July, you can save $85 if you sign up during the month of July. So we have about 7 or 8 more days left. You save $85. The company, you'll save $35 on your initial fee to get started with the company. And then after you make your first monthly payment, after that initial payment is made, 28 days later, when you make your first monthly payment, I'll send you a $50 rebate as an added bonus. So you save $85 if you get started with our community before the end of July. So again, guys, Bill Soriano from Pittsburgh. Have a great day.